hypothetically, if they break the drug, that doesn't. Hypothetically, if they break the drug, they don't necessarily have a job to go to. They don't necessarily have any way of finding a job to make money and pay the government back. But then the
issue is not finding them. The issue is them having a job to pay you back. Because you said, how are you going to find them and things like that? Well, I mean, it's not.
But I'm just saying that
I don't think that's going to be that hard. If they could find a job, if they really try, I mean, really legitimately try, and if they've already gone through this program, I assume that counsel that's provided has thought of this, and they're also counseling them into some sort of even meager, simple job to get them started.
Right, okay. So if it's $22,000 and they're making a meager, simple job, at McDonald's making minimum wage, how long is it going to take to pay back $22,000? Because when you're making a minimum wage job, you don't have money to pay back for cars. I mean, you pay for your house, you pay for your food. How are you gonna be able to afford $22,000 over your lifetime to pay back? That's assuming the costs don't rise, too.
Well, if you just do it over your lifetime and have very small increments, you should be able to do it.
So you're saying like a simple I can't think of what the word is when they just take it out of your paycheck.
Yeah, or have like monthly installments of like $10 a month.
That would take an awful. I don't think you could reach that with $10 a month, $120 a year. I don't think you could pay that back. Well, assume that these people that are doing this are 20 years old, right?
Yeah.
So they would have, on average, 50, 55 years to live, right? Going by by ballpark, right? So what do you? That's not going to be enough time. You'd have to take out it'd have to be more than $10 a month. I mean, it'd have to be like $100 a month. Maybe not that high, but
we don't know we don't know the requirements, so I have no idea what these people's background are,
right?
Anything like that. But I assume, you'd think they'd be able to pay it back, and if not, this is probably why Britain has the 4th largest deficit.
Right. That's why. I mean, that just gets me back to the cost. I mean, do you guys? The benefits of this are people are off drugs, and hopefully street crimes goes down, and hopefully, these other drugs come down in, people buying them. So the final question, do you think that the benefits of this program outweigh the $22,000 per year cost?
That's hard. Right now, I would say no. That's a huge price.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, I think it's too much. I think it's logical to assume that we're all on the same page here, that we would not like to see a program like this similar in the United States.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Okay.
Let's move on to the next topic. Now, here in Iowa City, our city council is they write this. They petition the state legislature for new programs that they would want instituted, or new requirements. And what they are planning to petition the state government for would be to raise the hotel motel tax, which is currently capped at 7%. Now, for those who don't know much about the tax situation in Iowa City, the city council is actually taxing Iowa City citizens at the maximum in all areas. They cannot legally tax us anymore, which is why a franchise fee will be initiated soon to unofficially tax us through like our power usage and things like that. So they're still finding ways to tax us, but they're going to petition it to be raised from 7% to 9%. And then they're also going to petition the state government to somehow put a stop, and I'm not sure what kind of law this would be, but and why the city council can't do something about it, but they want deals from bars to be stopped so that like you can't get like $2 pitchers and things like that, because they argue that it's promoting excessive drinking. So what do you guys think? Now, do you agree with either of these? Do you think that the tax should be allowed to be raised to help care for like city programs, things like that? The excessive drinking, do you think that will actually work if you get rid of those deals? What do you think?
Absolutely not on all those accounts. If they're taxing us at the most that they can and they're still in deficit, maybe that's an indication that they're spending too much.
That was my thoughts exactly, right out of my mouth. If they're taxing max, what are they possibly spending all of that money on? Iowa City is not that big of a city. I mean, it's
clean city.
True, I understand that, but I mean, if you're taxing at the max and you're still losing money, that I would agree with Ryan. It's a far bigger issue. I think it's going to be on the spending side rather than the money generating side.
And if we're being taxed at the maximum, that will put a big pressure on all the citizens to be taxed even more than the maximum.
Exactly. I mean, even with this franchise fee, it's only going to be maybe 1% of what you're paying, something like that, but it's making everything more expensive. And the cost of living in Iowa City is already severely outweighs what's in Iowa City. So I think they're getting very risky, and I think they're getting a little, I don't know the correct word, rambunctious with their taxation. How about that?
No, that's a good word for it.
But I mean, the people, at least the citizens, vote. The residents of Iowa City will vote if they get the approval from the state legislature to raise the maximum amount. But
I don't see that happening.
obviously, well, yeah. There's one city councilman is quoted saying that the state legislature will not raise the maximum. So that I'm not as worried about as the excessive drinking one. Do you think, so you don't think that that's going to do anything to stop excessive drinking, even if it was passed?
No, not at all. People like to drink in Iowa City, and they will pay money to drink. It doesn't matter whether
it's college town. It's a college town. You're not going to curb that.
All right. Well, then, let's play a song, and then we'll be back with the weather. All right, Ryan, introduce our next topic, please.
Oh, welcome back. We're going to talk about the military don't ask, don't tell. The Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid wants to hear from the Obama administration on how to overturn the don't ask, don't tell ban on gays serving openly in the military. The House is considering legislation to appeal the don't ask, don't tell and allow people who have been discharged under the policy to rejoin the military. The law is being pushed chiefly by Representative Patrick Murphy, former captain of the Army 82nd Airborne Division. And last year, 634 members of the military was discharged for being gay, around 0.045% of the active duty U.S. force. All right. So, what do you guys think?
What do you like? In what regard?
What
do you think that?
Wait, are we talking about their motion to repeal it, or the act of do we think that it should be gone?
Do we think don't ask, don't tell should be?
Yeah.
Eliminated?
Do you think should they have legislation to repeal the don't ask, don't tell?
And just have openly gay?
Yeah, openly gay people serving in the military.
Absolutely. Why not? I mean, the whole I remember hearing the argument for why it's there is because it's some kind of national. It's like a national threat. I'm like, I don't think the fact that knowing that the guy sleeping in the bunk next to you is gay is gonna drop a bomb.
Well, that and soldiers tend to report later that they're like, well, we knew that you were gay.
Yeah, it's like
you hear that all the time from commanding officers.
Yeah.
You always hear that they're like, oh yeah, such and such. I always knew he was gay. I mean, he's in my unit. I know everybody.
Obviously,
in my unit,
I mean, it's like, yeah, a lot of times it's not like it's a super big deal. It's just like I don't know why that's a big deal.
I mean, I don't remember which military official said this, but he's just like, if it is repealed and it's gone, then we will act professionally and deal blah blah blah. As they always do.
I think it was the same issue with women in the military. They said the structure would collapse, but our military is pretty strong today.
Exactly. They said. I mean, they said it so many times, even when it came to integrating African Americans and whites and bringing in all the races. I mean, it's just a pointless argument, which never has held up. So.
Right. Well, and especially I think at a wartime, granted that we still have reserve troops, and just a side note that there are troops from Iowa City being called to the war, but there are reserve troops still here. But at the same time, you should always have as many people as you can. I mean, there's like 1,200 people that left. Yeah, it was only less than 1% of people, but still, I'm sure that those were all quality people. I mean, they
were willing to stand up and do that.
Exactly. I think at a time of war, especially, but always, but especially at a time at war, you should always have as many people as you can.
Exactly. I just don't. We'll go ahead, Ryan.
Well, just to discharge them for just their sexuality is ridiculous to me.
I mean, if it's causing a disruption, I guess, but I really don't think someone saying, "Hey, I'm gay." Oh my God, that's the biggest disruption ever. I don't see that happening. And I just don't. I can't follow the logic of knowing that someone in your squad is gay. Other than the fact that you might morally disagree with it, how does that affect you personally?
Yeah, because I don't see how him being gay will affect if he will cover you in fire.
Right. Yeah. And I think they're all professionally trained to know that they can count on everybody. Just because you don't agree, that'd be like saying, this friend of I'm a Democrat and this friend of mine in my unit's a Republican and I disagree with him on everything. So he's distracting me. He should be discharged. That's basically the same argument that I get from it. I mean, it just doesn't hold any water that someone openly gay affects your performance as a soldier.
I agree. Did you have anything else to add to that?
No, that's about it.
All right. Well, then we will move on to our next topic, and it is the Democrats and Republicans are currently supporting a $250 stimulus for 50 million senior citizens, all of which who receive Social Security. Now, the plan will cost around $12 billion from the federal stimulus funds